Cheyenne recalls his father's words, that being loved by someone is the greatest happiness in life. He remembers them clearly, even if he never expects to experience that kind of happiness himself. On an ordinary school day, June 6th, his routine is broken when a beautiful classmate approaches him. She asks if he's free on the day of the Yukata festival. The sudden question catches him off guard. He repeats it, surprised, a faint thought flickering through his mind. Could she be asking him on a date? But she quickly explains that her biology club has cleaning duty that day and she needs him to fill in. She can't keep her boyfriend waiting. His brief excitement fades. Still, he agrees without complaint. Later, leaving school, Cheyenne feels as though he's been tricked again. He isn't interested in Sananda that way, but anyone would feel a small thrill in that situation. He thinks girls must see him as an easy target, maybe because he's so serious. He doesn't really mind. As he crosses the street, he hears some girls whispering behind him, calling him stupidly serious. As a second-year student who's never had a girlfriend, Cheyenne finds love hard to understand. Yet, despite everything, there are two girls who seem involved with him. Just then, his phone vibrates. A message from Ruka flashes across the screen, asking for his help. Meanwhile, Ruka runs into a group of fans. They praise her new album and offer her macarons, which she accepts with a smile, reciting a line from her own song and striking a playful pose. Then, in the middle of her act, she spots someone and slips away, still humming as she escapes her fans. Catching her breath, she hides beside Cheyenne on the street. He tells her to be careful. She's a celebrity after all. Ruka, his childhood friend, is now an idol in the group Ryuka. Frustrated, she complains that her management made her debut as Ryuka, and now she can't even buy rice crackers without drawing attention. Cheyenne knows her well. Behind the idol's glittering image, she's childish and selfish, showing her true self only to him and his family. When she admits she doesn't like sweets, he offers her the rice crackers he has at home. Her eyes light up, her mouth watering as she thanks him with real delight. He shrugs, brushing off her gratitude. Ruka then begins to act like her idol persona again. Pretending to summon macarons with flare Cheyenne stops her before she gets carried away. To him, she's like a sister. A little strange, but familiar. They arrive at Cheyenne's house, where his younger sister greets them while doing laundry. She asks if Ruka has eaten, and Ruka cheerfully replies that she'll have rice crackers after enjoying Ichika's cooking. In his thoughts, Cheyenne explains that Ichika is actually his stepsister, Haruta Ichika, from his father's remarriage 7 years ago. Mature and capable, she handles all the housework. She offers Ruka a storage box, since cleaning isn't Ruka's strength. Ruka laughs, saying it looks just like the ones her grandmother makes. At dinner, Ichika serves the food. Ruka immediately groans at the tomatoes on her plate and passes them to Cheyenne. He tells her to act more mature, like Ichika. Ruka then notices a spot of sauce in his hair and teases him, making him flustered. She offers to wipe it off with her handkerchief, but jokingly demands payment first, claiming that as an idol she must collect her mysterious men. In black will come for him. Ichika watches their light-hearted exchange in silence. After dinner, Ruka lounges in front of the TV while Ichika approaches Cheyenne, who is clumsily washing dishes. Without a word, she moves him aside and finishes the job herself. He feels guilty watching her do it all, but she tells him not to worry. Everyone else is busy anyway. From the couch, Ruka calls out that she enjoys housework too, mentioning she's in charge of cooking for an upcoming school camping trip. Cheyenne learns it will be from July 6th, lasting 4 days. Ruka says she wishes she could cook like Ichika. Cheyenne teases her that it's impossible. Ichika's cooking is on another level. As he dries the dishes, he adds that Ichika will make a great wife someday. Ichika reacts calmly while Ruka quietly watches the two of them. Then Ichika remembers something. Cheyenne wanted apples. She brings peeled slices and feeds him a piece. Seeing him eat it pleases her. Soon, Ruka comes over and demands some too. Ichika tells her to help herself. Ruka frowns, noticing they aren't peeled. Ichika points out that the skin is full of nutrients. Ruka insists she prefers them peeled, and asks Cheyenne what he thinks. Both girls look at him, waiting for his answer. He freezes for a moment, caught between them, then says he likes both. As they eat, Ruka complains that apples don't count as dessert and tells him to bring out something sweet. Ichika scolds her for being selfish, and Cheyenne agrees, telling her to be more grown up. In response, Ruka pulls out a limited edition album and offers it to Ichika as a bribe. Ichika accepts with a small smile and agrees to let Cheyenne go buy dessert. She hands him a pamphlet for a shop with cheap items and suggests he go there. Out on the street, Cheyenne thinks about how nervous he felt when both girls asked who he liked more. The word like itself makes him uneasy. He wonders how people even get girlfriends, and maybe just by confessing and hoping for the best. As he walks, he recalls his father's words again. The greatest happiness in life is to be loved. His father meant that happiness comes from being loved, not from loving. Shion wonders if he'll ever understand that if he ever does find a girlfriend. He hopes he will. And then his vision fades into darkness. When he opens his eyes, his head throbs with pain. Ichika and Ruka stand before him. Ichika's face relaxes with relief when he stirs. Confused, he asks where he is. Ichika tells him he's in the hospital. He hit his head and fainted. He tries to recall what happened, but only remembers leaving home to buy dessert. Then a newscaster's voice from the TV says the date, August 6th. Shion stares, stunned. Wasn't it still June 6th? Before he can ask, Ruka runs to get the doctor. Later, the doctor explains that Shion has retrograde amnesia, common after a head injury. He's lost all memories from June 6th to the morning of August 6th. Shion listens quietly, hoping his memory will come back. The doctor reassures him that his CT scan looks normal and says he'll explain the details to Ichika since their parents are on their way. At lunch, Shion eats slowly with chopsticks. Ichika watches him, worry clear on her face. She asks if he's having trouble eating or if she should blow on his soup. Feeling like a child, Shion insists he's fine. When she smiles with relief, something stirs faintly in his chest. A small, unfamiliar excitement. Checking the time, she tells him she has to leave for now. As she walks away, Shion quietly wonders why seeing her smile affected him so much. A voice suddenly whispers in his ear, making him jump. His father has appeared behind him. When Shion asks why he was hiding, his father admits he was worried, confessing that he drank after hearing about the amnesia. Sitting on the floor with his face covered, he looks almost comically familiar. He asks whether Shion is sure he doesn't want to tell Ichika about the lost memories. Shion nods. It's only 2 months, and he doesn't want to make her worry. His father calls him dependable, but reminds him he's hopeless at chores, recalling the time he ruined the rice. Even so, Shion wants to help more and support their family. His father, still tipsy, muses that people are happy when they're loved, something he once read. Shion realizes that's what his father meant when he remarried. Despite everything, he found joy through love. The next morning, as Shion pours milk, the landline rings. It's Ruka. She explains that his phone broke when he fell, so she had to call home. She asks if he'll be ready for tomorrow. Shion hesitates. He doesn't remember what they planned. Ruka senses his uncertainty and repeats her question. He dodges it with a weak joke. She tells him to meet her near the station at noon and to keep it secret from Ichika. After hanging up, Shion remains puzzled. The next day, he waits at the station, unsure whether to tell Ruka about his lost memories. He decides not to. She isn't good at keeping secrets. As he wonders whether idols can even go out in public, Ruka suddenly appears from behind a row of plants, disguised in a cap and sunglasses. Startled, he yells. When she removes them, he realizes it's her. She explains that they can't risk being recognized and then says it's because they're dating. Shion freezes. She quickly clarifies that idols aren't allowed to date, so they have to be careful. He blurts out in shock, but she hushes him before he attracts attention. The idea that they might really be dating makes his heart race. She puts her disguise back on and tells him to lead the way on their date. At karaoke, Ruka sings while Shion listens. Her voice sounds nothing like her recorded songs, and he says so without thinking. She insists that technology makes a difference. He tries to calm himself. It doesn't matter. But unease lingers. Watching her snack between songs, he feels his tension ease a little. Maybe she's just teasing him. He remembers Ichika leaving abruptly the day before and wonders if she and Ruka teamed up to teach him a lesson for hiding his amnesia. Maybe his father told them. Still, he thinks Ruka is taking it too far. The fact that his heart reacts at all embarrasses him. He leans closer, telling her that he already understands what's going on, so she doesn't have to hold back. She blushes at the words, misunderstanding, and says she can't. Shion flushes too, stumbling over his thoughts. She reminds him that as an idol, she can't risk being seen like that. He eats fries to steady himself, but Ruka suddenly slides closer, startling him. She asks why he's so jumpy. He doesn't answer, only asking why she moved beside him. Holding a handkerchief, she tells him he has ketchup on his face and that she's just wiping it off. The moment sparks a memory, her old joke about charging him for cleaning. He blurts out a panicked joke about being sold off to pay her debts, about eating mushrooms for dinner. Ruka laughs softly, telling him it was just a joke, then gently wipes his face. She seems unusually gentle today. Ruka admits she finally managed to do it. Before, she always hid her embarrassment behind jokes, but now, as his girlfriend, she wanted to do it for real. Shion sees an expression on her face he's never seen before, not from the Ruka he knows or her idol persona. Smiling, she says they should get dessert. Later, Ruka sits on a bench near an ice cream truck while Cheyenne buys their ice cream. As he walks back, he wonders if she's really acting or if they truly are dating. Maybe he lost those memories too. The thought makes him uneasy, as though he's doing something wrong. Suddenly, two fanboys approach Ruka, calling her cute and inviting her for tea. When one of them grabs her arm, Cheyenne steps forward, telling them she doesn't want to go. They demand to know who he is, one of them even threatening him. Cheyenne hesitates, unable to answer. The question cuts deep. What is he to her? He clenches his fists, frustrated by his own weakness. Then his mind flashes. He sees Ruka standing under the moonlight in a field of flowers, confessing her feelings. The scene feels real, like a missing piece of his memory. The warmth of it fills him. Maybe this is what it means to be loved. Her voice calling his name echoes inside him. If that moment truly happened, then what they have now isn't wrong. Back in the present, the fanboys mock him. Cheyenne tells them to leave or he'll fight. Moments later, he's on the ground as they walk away, calling him weak. Ruka rushes over and helps him up, teasing gently that he's not much of a fighter. Cheyenne wonders if he's good enough for her. Nervously, he asks if she's fine with him being like this. She pauses. Noticing her dropped ice cream, he offers her his, flustered. She leans in and kisses his cheek, telling him he's the only one for her, but warns him never to make her say it again. Cheyenne blushes deeply. Even without his memories, he feels something real growing in him. As she steps away, he mentions the field of flowers. Ruka stops, reacting sharply. He quickly changes the subject, saying he just remembered the place and wonders if the moon was bright that night. Ruka stares at him for a moment, then lets it go. Cheyenne is left wondering what she knows, but he decides that being loved, just as his father said, is what makes a person truly happy. That evening, Cheyenne returns home, uncertain if he made the right choice by keeping his secret. Ichika greets him as she prepares dinner, saying it will be ready soon. He wonders if she already knows about him and Ruka. When she approaches, she mentions they're having gyoza and calls him by his first name. She asks for his help, and he agrees, only then realizing the warmth in how she said his name. Suddenly, Ichika leans toward him as if to kiss him. He freezes. Startled, he yells for her to stop joking. But she looks calm and asks if he really finds it strange for her to kiss him. Like that, Cheyenne can only stare in disbelief as she tells him quietly that they are dating. Cheyenne panics, urging Ichika to explain what she means. She studies his flushed face for a moment, then suddenly rushes to the kitchen. He insists that he's fine, but she stops midway and instead returns, handing him the ingredients for gyoza. Inside, Cheyenne feels his thoughts spinning. Ruka is supposed to be his girlfriend, and Ichika is his stepsister. None of this makes sense. He wonders if they're teasing him because of his lost memories. When he asks Ichika to explain, she only points to the gyoza he made and gently calls him clumsy. A memory flickers in his mind, Ichika's voice thanking him for letting her be her boyfriend. Startled, he returns to the present. When Ichika asks what he was about to say, he brushes it off, unable to trust what he just remembered. The thought that they might actually be dating makes him panic. Horrified at the idea of two-timing, he bangs his head against the table, trying to shake off the confusion. Ichika softly reminds him about the bruise on his face, warning that he'll make it worse. Cheyenne forces himself to calm down, terrified by the possibility that he really has been dating both girls. Then a knock comes at the door. When Ichika opens it, Ruka stands there. Seeing them together freezes Cheyenne in place. One girl just told him she's his girlfriend, and the other is the one he went on a date with. Ruka explains that her mother isn't home and she ran out of rice, so she came over. Cheyenne, screaming inwardly, clings to the hope that Ichika must have been joking. There's no way he could be cheating to keep things simple. He lies about seeing Ruka yesterday. Ruka smiles and shows them photos from last month's school camping trip. Ichika leans closer to look, and Ruka says the trip was fun. The memory hits Cheyenne. They talked about that trip on June 6th. When Ichika asks if Ruka took the pictures herself, Ruka says she bought them at school. Looking at Cheyenne, she adds that many people bought her photos because she's an idol with a cute face. Embarrassed, Cheyenne spits out his drink, quickly apologizes, and agrees that she's cute. Ruka beams, but Ichika glares at him. Flustered, he insists he was only joking, and Ruka kicks him under the table. He falls in pain, and Ruka lightly comments that he must have choked on some gyoza. Cheyenne decides to stay quiet until she leaves. Eventually, Ruka says goodbye and heads home. Cheyenne murmurs to himself about what he said earlier, but Ichika, expressionless, remarks that lively girls are much cuter, then walks away. After a moment, he tells her that everyone has their own kind of charm, and that she does too. Ichika stops, and he blushes, realizing what he just said. Looking at him with soft eyes, she asks if she can hug him. Cheyenne freezes as she steps forward and embraces him. saying it's fine because she's his girlfriend. He doesn't know how to respond, but her warmth feels like happiness. When she lets go, she says she's going to take a bath. Watching her go, Shion feels the same warmth he did when Ruka looked at him, and wonders if he really loves Ichika too. Later, in his room, Shion searches for ways to regain his memories. The doctor said familiar people, objects, or places might bring them back. He feels that both Ichika's and Ruka's feelings are real, but wonders if he simply couldn't turn one of them down. And now he's with both. The thought of them finding out makes him tremble. Determined to prove he isn't cheating, he searches his room for answers. He finds a small box containing flowers sealed in a jar, along with a shop card that includes gift wrapping instructions dated August 5th, the day before he lost his memories, but he can't remember why he bought it. Inside the box, there's a letter celebrating a first month together, but he can't recall who it was for. A memory returns of him buying the flowers, wrapping the gift, and writing the letter. In the present, he wonders if this is what being loved feels like, yet he remains torn, because both girls have said they love him. Standing up, Shion asks himself which one he truly loves. Until his memory returns, he knows it's impossible to feel the same way about both. One of them must be lying, or something happened to make things this way. With no proof, he decides to find out the truth himself. He walks into the living room and tells Ichika he needs to talk. Realizing she's just come from the shower, he stiffens, then gathers his courage and asks if she'll go on a date with him tomorrow. Blushing, Ichika nods eagerly. He explains that he wants to visit a place they've been to together before, somewhere that might help him remember. Even if Ichika is lying, he believes the outing will reveal something. When she asks why, he finally admits the truth. He's lost his memories and he needs her help to remember. On August 8th, Shion meets Ichika at an amusement park for their date. She arrives, slightly out of breath, and apologizes for keeping him waiting. Accepting the ice cream he offers, she thanks him with a smile. As Shion watches her, he can't stop wondering who his real girlfriend is. Ichika then hands him her ice cream and explains that this amusement park is where she first confessed her love to him. Shion searches his mind, but no memories come. He lowers his head and apologizes. Ichika softly admits that she never realized he had lost his memories. Shion feels a wave of relief. She truly didn't know. A small part of him almost wishes she had, because then all of this might have been a joke. As he takes a bite of his ice cream, Ichika suddenly leans forward and takes one from his. Startled, he shouts and drops his own. Embarrassed, he apologizes for dropping the treat she bought, but Ichika just shakes her head and tells him it's fine. She apologizes instead for surprising him and acting like a girlfriend. Her voice turns quiet as she adds that he's never really seen her that way. Shion looks at her closely but says nothing. After a moment, Ichika smiles again and suggests they enjoy the day. Maybe it will help him remember something. They begin to wander through the park. Ichika notes how crowded it is and Shion asks when they last came here together. She answers, July 13th. Shion realizes that was less than a month ago. If not for the gift he found, he would have had no clue about their past. He starts asking question after question about where they went, what they did, and how that day went. Ichika laughs and tells him he sounds like an investigator. Her words make him realize how tense he's become, and he apologizes. Then Ichika gently takes his hand. She tells him they should just enjoy the date properly. Maybe that will help him remember even more. Shion's face turns red, but he steadies himself, reminding himself that he needs to face things calmly. With sudden energy, he declares that they should try the roller coaster. Ichika laughs, recalling that he fainted the last time they rode it. Flustered, he suggests the haunted house instead, but she reminds him he fainted there too, and even jumped when a balloon popped. He quickly cuts her off, mumbling that he's always been that way. Ichika laughs again and suggests they try kart racing. On the track, Ichika notices their kart number and points out that it matches their initials, S for Shion and I for Ichika. Smiling, she says she likes being the one to steer. Shion compliments her driving and her cooking. Just then, another cart zooms past. Laughing, he suggests chasing it, and Ichika's eyes light up. She tells him to hold on and speeds up. Shion yells as the wind rushes by, but Ichika's focus sharpens and she pushes forward until they finally pass the other cart. Afterward, Ichika hands him a drink and apologizes for driving so fast. Shion asks if they can rest a little longer and she agrees. Sitting together on a bench, Shion admits he feels pathetic. He wanted to be stronger, but Ichika tells him it doesn't matter. She's just happy to be with him. Her honesty makes his face warm. As he pokes his cheeks in embarrassment, Ichika quietly rests her head on his shoulder. The closeness makes him freeze. She whispers that she's always wanted to do that. Feeling the eyes of people passing by, Shion quickly stands and yells that he's embarrassed. Ichika laughs softly and suggests they go somewhere else, leading him toward a garden. Among the flowers, Ichika leans down to look at the red ones and says she likes them best. Then she asks if he knows why she rarely talks about what she likes. Before he can answer, she admits one reason: because she likes him. Shion straightens, trying to stay calm, and asks if he's really her boyfriend. Ichika blinks, not understanding at first. Then, after a pause, he explains that he doesn't remember. He tells her he doesn't recall having a girlfriend during the past 2 months, yet she keeps saying they're together. He asks if he can truly love her as her boyfriend. Ichika falls silent, then leans closer. She says she'll tell him why she loves him. Her voice softens as she speaks. After her mother's divorce, she says she always felt she had to be understanding. Even after their parents remarried, she took on all the housework and tried to keep everything together. At school, her classmates found her distant, thinking she was too mature. She often wondered why she was like that, no matter how hard she tried to fit in. Then Shion came into her life. He stood up for her, telling everyone how amazing she was, how brave, how skilled at cooking, how dependable. He even said she would make a wonderful bride someday, which made her blush. After that, he scolded anyone who spoke badly about his sister. Since then, Ichika says, she's tried her best to be a good sister, but over time she began wanting Shion to see her differently, to see her as a woman. Her feelings grew stronger until finally he accepted her confession. Still unsure, Shion asks if he really liked her back when she confessed. Ichika answers that only he would know that, and says it's because he's kind. Then she adds that something happened, and quietly wonders if it would matter if she confessed again. Shion looks at her in surprise as Ichika smiles and tells him once more that she loves him, asking if he'll go out with her again. Listening to her, Shion realizes that Ichika believes love can grow from small things. A word, a feeling, a bit of kindness. Somewhere else in the park, Ruka, with a bit of free time, strolls past the rides. As she looks around, she spots Shion and Ichika together. In the garden, Ichika leans toward Shion for a kiss, but he gently stops her with his hand. He tells her that she's his sister and that dating her is impossible. Ichika's smile fades, her expression turning sad. As he starts to explain further, she suddenly bursts into laughter. Tears gather in her eyes as she admits it was all just a joke. She explains that she overheard at the hospital that he had amnesia, and because he never told her himself, she decided to tease him by taking things this far. Shion asks if she's serious, and Ichika nods with a grin, teasing that her hopeless brother could never get a girlfriend anyway. Relief washes over him. He's glad he isn't actually two-timing anyone, though the memory of Ichika confessing still lingers, leaving him uncertain. Since his memories are incomplete, he admits to himself that he might be mistaken. When he looks up again, Ichika is already walking away. She calls out that she has something to take care of and quickly disappears into the crowd. Left alone, Shion realizes that if he had told her the truth sooner, none of this would have happened. He accepts it as punishment for keeping his amnesia a secret, though he never imagined she overheard his conversation at school. As he leaves the garden, his thoughts turn restless. Maybe Ruka is joking with him too. Panic rises in his chest. He wants to know the truth, but without his phone, he has no way to reach her. Then he spots Ruka walking ahead. Both of them freeze when their eyes meet. She demands to know why he's there, and he throws the same question back. Before they can say more, he notices her excited fans searching nearby. Ruka grabs his arm and hides behind him. The fanboys approach, trying to speak, but before they can ask anything, Shion hurriedly claims he doesn't know what they're talking about. The fans exchange confused looks, explaining that they haven't even asked their question yet, and then ask if he's seen someone who looks like an angel. Shion repeats that he doesn't know, but the fans soon spot Ruka behind him. Desperate, Shion whispers for her to do something. Without thinking, Ruka begins making chicken noises. The fanboys stare, mutter about a girl who sounds like a falling chicken, and walk away. Later, Ruka puts on an animal hat and explains that her fans must have seen her during her break at the amusement park. Then she asks why he's there. Not wanting to reveal the truth, Shion lies that he just came to enjoy himself alone. Ruka makes a pitiful face and he tells her to cut it out. He then asks if she has some free time and she nods, suggesting they go somewhere else together. Inside the Ferris wheel, the quiet ice settles between them. Ruka learns that Shion has lost his memories from the past 2 months. He apologizes for keeping it from her, and her surprise shows she hadn't known until now. She explains that they've been dating since July 13th. The date shocks Shion. It's the same one Ichika mentioned. He starts to wonder if Ichika was the only one playing a trick, and that maybe Ruka truly is his girlfriend. Trying to confirm, he tells her that Ichika confessed to teasing him after he hid his condition from her, then asks if Ruka is hiding anything as well. Ruka answers calmly as his childhood friend, she says. She knows he never really saw her as a woman until recently. Cheyenne tries to deny it, but she cuts him off, saying she understands how the person she likes thinks. She reminisces about middle school, how classmates treated her like a celebrity and gave her macarons, cheering her stage name and asking for autographs. Around them, she played the part of the idol, but when she was with Cheyenne, she dropped the act. He would quietly offer her rice crackers instead. That was when she fell for him, because he treated her like herself. Ruka says that if she hadn't become his girlfriend, she would have accepted it. But she was genuinely happy when he responded to her feelings. Then she looks at him and asks if he would respond again if she confessed one more time. She admits that the Cheyenne before her feels different from the one in her memories, and that the chance of him accepting her now might be small. Still, she wants to be honest. She explains that she became an idol simply because she saw idols on TV. If she had watched sports instead, she might have chosen a different path. Change, she says, always leads to something new. Being liked, finding a connection, or crossing paths with someone unexpected. No one knows what tomorrow will bring or who might confess before she gets the chance. That's why, even if Cheyenne doesn't like her now, she'll keep trying, because she wants to be his girlfriend. Cheyenne listens, feeling the sincerity in her words. She isn't joking. Something inside him tells him to accept her feelings. Even without his memories, he feels drawn to her, as if trying to reach something he once lost. He tells her he wants to be her boyfriend again, even if it takes time to feel that way, and that he wants to respond to her feelings. Ruka's face turns red as she looks at him closely. In that moment, Cheyenne is certain. She's the one. He's found his real girlfriend. For the first time in a long while, he feels that everything might finally be all right.
Here I am.